Okay, we're gonna get started here very shortly. I just gotta get my chat up again real quick. Uh, yeah. This one should go by a lot quicker because I'm not gonna go into too much detail like I did last stream. We're gonna get pop out chat so I can read it and push that down, shorten that down a little. Whoops, I missed. Oh yeah, I forgot to do the fucking chapters from last thing. Oh man. I forgot. Alright, shush. I'll do it another time. Alright, refresh chat. And then we'll get right into it. Okay, so jumping right into this. We're gonna be ranking every single weapon for multiplayer. We're not gonna focus on zombies, and we're not gonna be focusing on Warzone because I never played Warzone. And I don't give a fuck about Warzone. But for multiplayer, this is what we're talking about because, for those tuning in and watching the video for the first time, probably. If you guys didn't know, I have 100%ed the game pretty much for multiplayer and zombies. So I'm like the only things I'm really missing on Modern Warfare 3 are the Constellation end camo on every single gun and a few of the aftermarket part thingies. Well, not the actual aftermarket parts, but it's the armory system. That's what it is. Some of the extra calling cards they have in there. I still gotta unlock that. So I gotta spend a day doing nothing but zombies and just getting contracts done, whatever, shit like that. So there's a handful of those to go too. But besides that, I pretty much have 100% of the game. Like, pretty much. I do not plan to go for Constellation End unless something changes, and there's only one way to find out. I mean, just time. Give us some time. You never know. But besides that, I have every single weapon charm for the weapons that you do the mastery, the grand mastery thing. So those weapon charms, like the SVA, for example, I have the SVA weapon charm for multiplayer and zombies. But on every single gun, I have every single gun, weapon, whatever weapon charm. I have all the animated calling cards and emblems from the weapons themselves for the Grandmaster thing, like the gold and ivory, zircon scale, blah blah blah, everything. All that's done. So, with experience with Modern Warfare 3 and Modern Warfare 2, I'm confident enough to make a tier list for multiplayer, and I'm sure people are going to criticize because everyone's different, you know? Everyone's got their own opinions and their own history with weapons and experiences overall and strategies and how to use them. And mine may be completely different than your list, which is fine because I'm a headshot player. So instead of me focusing on headshots like I did last stream, we're going to be focusing on the weapon itself, on it being a good, bad, or awful weapon. Pretty much. Especially for the Grand Mastery. That's where it really shows. Where like, oh yeah, I suffered with that weapon, F tier or something. So we're going to be doing both Modern Warfare 3 and Modern Warfare 2. I have the whole bucket list right here. And we're going to get started right away. So I'm going to keep these nice, short, and simple if I can. SVA 545, I like the fact that it starts with its fast 2-round burst. If you tap fire with it, you can get some nice headshots with it. Overall, this gun is actually kind of fun to use. I'd say A. MTZ 556, I find this to be an underrated weapon. This is a really solid weapon for recoil control and just overall versatility. I just wish there was a 45-round mag. A tier. Holger 556, there is a conversion kit that I believe turns into a 4-round burst, unless I'm confusing with something different. I haven't been using the 4-round burst on this, but just the regular Holger is pretty good too. It's not too bad, so B. MCW, there is the base variant, and then of course the aftermarket part. I don't really remember much of the aftermarket part, but I think it might be technically better. But I think that one also has a headshot multiplier with the aftermarket part. But I think I used the aftermarket part in the MCW, but my memory is very foggy because it's been over a year ago since I've last used this weapon. So I'm going to give it an A tier because it is pretty strong, and I did not mean to right-click. But it is a little bit better than the MTZ. I know people would rank this a lot higher, understandably for the nostalgia factor and overall being a competitive weapon, but I mean, I still find it pretty good. It's nothing special, like nothing S tier worthy. It's just, to me, it's an A tier. It's a good assault rifle. DG56, that being a 3-round burst, can lead to some hit or miss moments with headshots. I'm gonna put B. FR556, this one has a stronger headshot damage than the DG56, so 3-round burst again. It's not too bad, so it's better than the DG, so B right there as well. The BP50 without the aftermarket part is pretty solid, but with the aftermarket part, it gives it a bigger magazine and I think changes the caliber. It gives it a little bit less recoil. The lack of attachments on the aftermarket part does make it a little more annoying, but I think the BP50 is a pretty solid weapon. It's been a solid weapon since launch. Well, not launch, but since it was released in Season 2, so A tier. Probably right above the MTZ 556. Oh, well, and actually, no. I like it less than the MTZ. The Ram 7, not bad. Typical AR. Nice little bullpup AR. As if we didn't have enough bullpups already. We have 3 right here. It does need some recoil control attachments, and it's not too bad. So I'm actually going to put it in the B tier above the burst weapons. BAL-27, I don't like the fact that it doesn't have a headshot multiplier, and its recoil is quite wonky. I do love the fact that it's just like the Advanced Warfare Atlas 45. Or sorry, BAL-27. I don't know where I got that from, but okay. And then having the Atlas logo, some like nods to the Advanced Warfare stuff, the iron sights from Advanced Warfare. Really solid gun. And it's just, it doesn't really have the greatest recoil control visually, and no headshot multiplier really. So I'm going to put it on B. STG-44, damage is not half as bad. I just wish it would be a little bit stronger on the headshot multiplier. Right now it's like a 4-shot headshot. But it is very fun to use, very nostalgic from World War II. Lots of fun to use. I'm going to put this one on a high A. Bass B. Okay, so we're in the battle rifles now. The Bass B, there's 2 things with it. There's a regular and the aftermarket part version. I like the aftermarket part version more because it turns into a lever action, and it also makes the headshot a one-shot headshot, which is one of the better one-shot headshots in the game. And because of its versatility of what you can do, and it's of course one of the more modern military weapons, I'm going to give the Bass B an S tier. The Sidewinder is a very slow but hard-hitting battle rifle. It also does have a conversion kit for an aftermarket part to turn it into a full auto... hang on. Excuse me. It does turn it into, I guess, like a 50 or 60 round drum. It shoots a lot faster as time goes on, but during pre-patch, when it first came out, it was still the same fire rate as the Sidewinder, but then increased after like the first 7 shots or something. But after like post-patch, it was it's a lot faster now, so it's a lot more usable than the regular Sidewinder. So I'm gonna put the Sidewinder in D because I was not a fan of how slow the headshots were for the base variant. MTZ 762 is not as bad either. Pretty solid full auto, and it also has a conversion kit as well. I don't entirely remember what the conversion kit did, but I think it changed the caliber or something, I'm not sure. Both of them are pretty solid. It's actually kind of fun to use in general, so I'm actually going to put this in B. I'm going to put it like mid-B, right ahead of the burst rifles. The SOA Subverter, I don't remember what season that came out, really, season 2 or something. When this first came out, the calling card challenge for the gold, when you have gold equipped, apparently they did a typo, and it was supposed to be 100 kills. It was 1 kill. I don't know why they did that, and it counted. It gave you the calling card for 1 kill. Besides that, the SOA Subverter kind of felt like an ARX 160 in a sense, but not really. Especially since it's not 3-round burst, but it's full auto. It's not too bad, but it does feel slow when you're using it, so I'm going to put it at B, right ahead of the MTZ. The D-Tier 30-06 is a modern-day bar. One of the last battle rifles for the Modern Warfare 3 guns. Well, it's the last battle rifle. And attachments for it are kind of interesting. It is a fun gun to use, hard hitting, nice and fast. It does kind of shoot nice and fast, in a sense, but not fast. I would say this is really solid for headshots and solid for kills in general. I'm gonna put it at A, right above the MCW. Actually, if anything, above the SVA. And then now we're into the submachine gun category. So the Striker. The Striker. I'm just trying my best to think. And I'm just also speaking so much that I need to cool down after a speech because my throat right now is kind of already feeling dry. Okay. Okay, so the Striker feels really solid when you use it. It feels like low recoil, feels like it's hard hitting, it's really solid, lots of fun to use, especially for headshots. I'm gonna rate this at an A, right next to the STG. The AMR9 had two different aftermarket parts. One turned it into a double barrel, and the other one turned it into the AMR9 from Advanced Warfare, which was a 5-round burst submachine gun. I personally used more of the regular AMR9 more than the aftermarket parts. Nice and versatile, lots of options for magazines, lots of options for attachments in general for design and looks and stuff and recoil control. Very solid gun, but damage. So I'm going to put that one in low A, right above the BP50. WSP9, this one was actually a nice weapon to use. It's a little bit different. I also had a variant for it that had like bones in it and stuff. You could see through the gun. Really cool to see having those variants in the game. But besides that, this was actually kind of a fun weapon to use, even with the aftermarket part. It was a hard-hitting, slow-firing SMG, so I'd say it's pretty damn solid. So I'm going to give it an A, I almost said S, Jesus Christ, right below the BP50. The Rival 9 was the go-to competitive submachine gun in Modern Warfare 3, and in all honesty, I absolutely hate this gun, not because I get used against it, but it's just one of those snake pattern submachine guns where it just goes right, left, or whatever. Very recoil heavy for the Rival 9. There was an aftermarket part that kind of solved this, that turned it into a full auto 3-round burst, which I wish it was just 3-round burst and not full auto 3-round burst. But, I mean, I'm not a game developer, so I didn't make that. But I did know that they nerfed this weapon a few days ago for the headshot multiplier and some other things, which is fine. But it's still usable. I mean, it's more usable than the Rival 9 itself for headshots, but in all honesty, I'm going to give it a B. I'm going to put it right past, almost like, right there. Yeah. A mid-B tier. I'm sure people would rate it higher because, you know, it's a competitive weapon. I understand. But for headshots and stuff, and just for me using it, I didn't really like it as much. Striker 9 was my go-to submachine gun for Modern Warfare 3. It was great for headshots, and it felt satisfying to shoot with, and it was pretty much vertical recoil. Quite a few options on there as well for recoil control. I also had a transparent variant as well, like an X-ray kind of colored one or whatever. Super fun to use. I absolutely enjoyed this. To me, personally, this was an S tier. WSP Swarm, there was an aftermarket part for having like 2 of them, so you can have like the brace stocks and be able to hipfire 2 of these with a 100-round mag each if you wanted to. Lots of options, very interesting gun overall, but the recoil was where it really just threw me away from it. Like, I didn't like the recoil plot. I didn't like the recoil patterns and stuff like that. It was just, you had to sacrifice all the movement for recoil control and a good mag. I'm going to put this in C. It wasn't that bad, but it was not that great. The HRM9, here, let me just recenter. The HRM9, in my opinion, wasn't half as bad, except for the fact that the stock for me, I mean, I don't know if this happened to anyone else too, but my stock on the HRM9 that I wanted to use always had this pink and blue variant. Not sure why, but it did. Really upsetting because it removes the camouflage on it. Like, it doesn't like have the camouflage on the stock, which is annoying. So putting like that gold cheetah on there just kind of ruins it because the stupid stock being pink and blue and all other sorts of weirdness. But it's like one of the better stocks for recoil control. HRM9 had some interesting options. Overall, not that bad of a weapon. It's kind of mid in all honesty. So I'm going to put it in past the Ram 7. It does feel really solid, and past the Ram 9, it's even better than that. I like it. And the Ram 9, this was a meta weapon when it first came out, of course, as always. Magazine was not bad. Recoil was alright, but sometimes you had to sacrifice some recoil control attachments. Like adding recoil control attachments and sacrifice for like ADS or movement speed a little bit. But I mean, once again, it was a submachine gun, so it wasn't too bad, but like it almost felt like the punishment for using recoil control attachments were too drastic. So Ram 9 wasn't too bad. But in all honesty, not my favorite really. I'm gonna put it in low B tier. Superior 46 is one of the better submachine guns for headshots when it comes to accuracy, and if anything, this is probably one of the most accurate submachine guns we have. The Superior was another meta weapon during like season 4 or something. I don't really remember what season specifically, 3 or 4 or 5. I don't remember anymore. Extremely good submachine gun. Lots of fun to use, very accurate. So if you're like precision, like all about precision, this was your build. I think this was your go-to submachine gun for metas at the time. Solid damage, solid accuracy, solid iron sight, solid everything. I'm going to put this in A. I'm going to put it right above the SVA. Static HV kind of felt like you were using a pistol that was converted into a submachine gun. Like, it has that jankiness of, like, that recoil pattern weirdness. Like, if you didn't have enough recoil control attachments on it, it did feel like a submachine gun as a pistol. It also had the limitations of the 50-round mag on there from like the P90, so ammo types were very limited on that. I usually ran overpressure to make everyone pissed, but besides that, this gun wasn't half as bad, and it was somewhat fun to go for headshots with, but not better than the Superior in my eyes. That is an A-tier weapon right above the BSP, or BPS, or BP50, I can't read. Above AMR 9... Yeah, right there. I like that. That's good. Shotguns. Lockwood 680. Another pump action. Classic. Can't beat the Lockwood 680 for a pump action. I use slugs on it, so it's a really solid slug using shotgun, and I think it was a lot of fun. It's just the only drawback really is the rechamber animation time, but besides that, not half as bad as a shotgun. I'm going to put it in high B tier. Haymaker. Okay, there's, like, as a slug user, it is damn near impossible to use this fucking thing. It has so much recoil. The damage range is awful. You can't one-shot body. You can only one-shot head at 5 meters. You have to basically two-shot. It's really bad. And I don't know why it had to be that bad. But then you got the aftermarket part. Sadly does not come with slug rounds or has an option to. It's just basically buckshot with a stupid 60-round mag or drum. It's ridiculous. But for versatility and using the Haymaker as a shotgun in general, this was disgusting. This was so stupidly gross. But since we already talked about headshots from before, it was basically like a D or an F tier. Well, for the Haymaker itself, versatility-wise, it was really, really, really good. I'm going to put it at low A. The Riveter. Okay, so the Riveter, this one was interesting because it felt like a battle rifle as a shotgun, especially if you put all recoil control attachments on it and using the right muzzle to really tone down as much recoil visually as you can. And putting slugs on this really did feel like a battle rifle, and I felt like it was very solid, lots of fun to use. Trash iron sights in a sense, but it's fine. Could have been better, in my opinion. I'm going to put it as a A tier as well, above the AMR 9. And then you got the Reclaimers. This stuff got nerfed, and I'm so happy about it. But also, if you put slugs on this, it becomes a 2-shot body and 1-shot head. So headshots with those are even more fun. But besides that, with the Reclaimer 18, lots of options on there for like different customization. You can even have them akimbo, which finally got nerfed. And now all those sweaty meta nobodies that use the Reclaimer 18 akimbos are now scrambling and squirming over trying to find a new gun to gravitate towards. So Yeah, it's kind of fun to see those suckers change weapons for once. And now they're trying to experiment like the game wanted to do the whole time. Anyways, the Reclaimer 18 is a very solid shotgun, but if you're going for body, do not use slugs. I'm going to put it in A tier, right above the SEA. Pulling me out 7.62. This is a very hard-hitting, solid weapon. Sounds amazing when you shoot it. Lots of options. There's also the bullpup conversion kit, which is really good. This is a really, really good weapon overall. I'm going to put it in high A tier. Like, right there. Holger 26. This one's not half as bad as a weapon, but this also has the... No, that does not. I keep confusing it every time. That's the marksman rifle I'm thinking of. Holger 26 kind of feels like the G36C, but, you know, you can customize it to make it the G36, essentially. Very fun to use. Lots of options. And solid weapon. I'm going to give it an A tier. Like, probably right above the BP-50 and AMR-9. Bruin Mark 9, another one of those weapons that have a lot of versatility. Like, you can either go all big or go home with a bunch of ammo, or you can do a side mag and make it quick. Lots of options on there. I heard this is great on Warzone, but this is also a solid weapon for multiplayer. A tier as well, right above the Holger. DG58 LSW, I also had a variant of this as well that had like the skull bones and stuff in there, like you could see through it, dinosaur fossil, whatever. Really cool variant as well, but this is also kind of a fun gun, and I believe there was an aftermarket part that like catch the barrel, that would make the barrel catch on fire with its fire rays. So DG58 was actually a lot of fun to use, and it was a pretty solid weapon. But it's not as bad, but I'm gonna put it in A tier again as well, right above the Haymaker, and a little bit above the WSP. TAC Eradicator, this is the hammer from Black Ops 2. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it shoots faster at first and then slows down. This is also another solid light machine gun, especially since it's a magazine. Lots of options for versatility there. Solid for headshots, solid for everything. I'm going to give it an A tier as well. Right above the Holger and the Bruin. The TAC Evolver wasn't half as bad, but it also had the versatility for different ammunition types. So you can have 7.62 or 5.56 on there. And overall either improve the recoil and make it shoot faster, or heavy hitting with 7.62. So nice to have. Lots of options in a sense with magazine. But the only real drawback with this is like attachments as well. It doesn't really help too much with like speed or anything. So it's going to be kind of a bulky LMG. So I'm going to give it a high B tier because of that. Casto of LSW kind of feels like the Holger, but with a larger magazine. Or I meant to say the Eradicator, but whatever. The only problem with it is if you're going recoil control, you're sacrificing ADS and movement speed, so you have to pick your poison with this, or you can just go with the aftermarket part that gave it the little handle. Like the side grip or something, so it's like the chainsaw. Once again, it is a very solid LMG. I'm going to put it in A tier as well, but I'm going to put it above all these other LMGs real quick. There. Marksman rifles. Okay, this is where I like these. Okay, I like marksman rifles a lot, but the only ones I really didn't like was the MCW 6.8 and the DM56 as its base variant, but we're going to talk about that later. KVD Enforcer is my go-to weapon for headshots. This is the best one-shot headshot marksman rifle in the game, in my opinion, for semi-automatic. Lots of fun that way. Lots of options for it as well, in a sense. This is, to me, an S tier. It's great for one-shot headshots, and I feel like it's been slept on for the headshot part. Like, people have been just going, like, spamming it and trying to get headshots that way. Dude, no. Or just kills that way, sorry. No, you just take your time with it and pop head. MCW 6.8, honestly, I was not a fan of this when this came out, because especially during this magazine bug era where, like, it only was stuck on 10 rounds. Like, you could equip, like, a 40-round... Well, I don't even know if there was 40-round. Like, a 30-round mag is what I meant to say. And it would not put it on. It would just be a 10-round mag at all times. So, also, it was very forgiving if you missed your first headshot and you hit a body shot. You can hit a headshot and follow up with that 2-shot kill. So it was solid in that department, but besides that, it really was not the greatest. But it did kind of come back with the conversion kit. But then that was only capped at 20 rounds. But still, I'm going to give it a C. Like a high C. Not too bad. DM56, it was not great at launch. It's 75 headshot damage. Very unforgiving if you hit a body shot. Options are kind of interesting in a sense to make it more versatile. But still, it's one of the worst marksman rifles in this game. But also, if it weren't for the aftermarket part, this is where it completely changes into the MWII or the MWII, depending on what we're talking about here. But yes, this is one of the better weapons because of the aftermarket part. And because of that aftermarket part, it is going high A tier. MTZ Interceptor. This one has been nerfed through the ground multiple times. Mainly because of its headshot damage and damage range, which is understandable. But its headshot damage range has been completely killed down to like 20 or less meters without any attachments, so it's even worse than ever. To me, the MTZ Interceptor is not bad, but you need to put some range extending attachments on it, so I'm actually going to put this at low B because of that. Car 98K. This is another one of those weapons that are high skill, high reward. It is basically a marksman sniper rifle from World War II. Lots of nostalgia there with COD World War II and other video games as well. So very versatile, nice amount of attachments. I just wish they had some magazine attachments, but they do not, sadly. So because of that, and that there's no magazine attachments for it, I'm gonna put it low A. Like probably actually right above the yeah, right there. That seems good to me. Like mid A then. Alright, let me just get a drink. Okay, snipers. Cat AMR, very slow, hard hitting. Great for Warzone, not so great for multiplayer. Very slow in general, and because of its slowness and lack of iron sights, it's getting a high C, essentially. Longbow, very fast rechamber, very large magazine, insane damage, insanely good. It also had an aftermarket part that had iron sights, S tier. Stupidly overpowered and good. I loved the longbow. KV inhibitor has a slower fire rate. The Vulcan did not help at all. That Vulcan was a stupid aftermarket part, in my opinion. And it was very unnecessary, because you could just either one-shot at the torso or higher. Why would you want it to be a 2-round burst? In my opinion, thanks to its slow ADS speeds and no real iron sights, it is getting a C tier. Extra case stalker. Every macro's best friend, which is very sad if you have to use a macro to rechamber 0.25 seconds faster. Very sad. Cheater. Anyways, extra case stalker. Lots of attachments. Lots of interesting stuff like no stock or whatever, but I never use no stock. I don't use lasers either. It also had iron sights, so it was like reminiscent of the ballista, so it's really nice to have. In my opinion, for this sniper, this was an A tier sniper. Like, right there. Very solid, very fun to use. Morse. This was even more fun, and if anything, it is an S tier. But before I explain the S tier part of it, it also has an aftermarket part for shotguns, which was great for zombies, but we're not talking about zombies here. We're talking about multiplayer. It brings back the vibes from Advanced Warfare's Morse sniper rifle, which is nice to see. It also felt like it never had a magazine because it was essentially the magazine. Like, it's just one bullet, you take a shot, and it almost felt like a rechamber as the reload, which is why I love this, especially with the commando gloves, being able to reload while sprinting, having sprint cancels reload disabled, and having some sort of like Morse iron sights was just great. Overall, one of the best snipers in the game. S tier. 445. This one had some interesting quirks with it. Not too bad damage if you had a good trigger finger, but they also nerfed it to hell at one point either by accident or on purpose. Who knows? I don't remember anymore. Where like trigger finger for it was just absolutely cheeks, especially with the fast trigger. I don't know what happened there that time, but they also added the aftermarket part that gave it a binary trigger, which was amazing for this gun, but that got nerfed several times. So, in all honesty, with the Core 45, for me, I didn't really use it as much. It wasn't as entertaining, despite I already have Constellation's End for it because of get higher game modes. Being able to shoot the targets with the Core 45 gave weapon XP to it, and I wish there was more weapons in with the Core 45, or in the get higher game mode, so we can get experience points for that. B tier. The Renetti. Multiple options. You had a 3-round burst, you had a full auto, and then you had a semi-auto version. All three were great. I remember the Renetti full auto was taking Modern Warfare 3 by storm during the beginning of its era, which was fine. It's been nerfed multiple times, but the Renetti itself is still extremely solid. Even the aftermarket part for the semi-automatic one is still solid. And it still feels fun to have a nice, real solid semi-automatic from Modern Warfare 3. A tier. Right above, right there. The tier. This is another one of those pistols that you could either go commando with one-shot headshots, or you could have a snake shot on it, or go akimbo, and ruin people's day. But the tier excels with headshots. Lots of fun to use, but there's also the aftermarket part that like extends the barrel. I don't use that ever. I just really use the tier itself. It's good enough. I love revolvers. Only thing I wish it didn't have was a 5-round drum or revolver thing. I wish it was 6 instead of 5, but it is what it is by the end of the day. To me, it was an S tier because of headshots. Lots of fun. Right there. WSP Stinger, honestly, lack of attachments in a sense. 32 round mag at its highest. Running the 32 round mag felt slow when you reload. No optics. Lots of recoil. It was stupid. I hated this. F tier. RGL 80. At first glance, it was a pretty bad launcher because it took like maybe like 2 to 4 shots to kill someone with it. But until they finally came out with the aftermarket part, which replaced its optic with a like a red dot, and gave it 3 different options, or technically 4 different options for ammo types. I used slugs on it, which basically was like a guaranteed kill almost kind of thing. It was really nice to use, and going for headshots I actually counted for this. So because of the aftermarket part, I'm going to put this at a low B tier. Stormender. Very interesting at launch, where you could not get a kill with it because it was just like a stun essentially, or less than a stun, I think. But it did take out streaks extremely effectively, and overall was one of the better streaks to use, or sorry, overall one of the better, or if anything, the best launcher to use against streaks, because it also EMP'd streaks. So if anyone called it an Overwatch helo, you could just ruin their day by using a Stormender and just ruining it. Just like that. And because it's such a good launcher, I'm going to put it in low A tier. The Torque 35, this was a very interesting and versatile launcher in a sense. So having a bow as your secondary was quite interesting. Having different options for the bolt as well was pretty awesome to see. And the weird one was snapshot bow, like snapshot rounds was another weird one too, but I never used that. I actually, when I used the Torque 35, I never used an ammo type on this because just the base spear itself on it is good enough. Like the bolt on it is strong enough, especially for headshots. Lots of fun. But for those who play Warzone, of course, there was a Ripper tip on that, which was do a lot more damage. But once again, a really cool secondary to have overall. I'm going to say mid A tier, right above the Riveter and the Renetti. And then we got melee weapons. So the Gutter Knife, nice to see. It's a nice knife. Looks cool. No heavy attack or anything special, just a standard Gutter Knife. It does have a slow swipe animation, and because of that, I'm going to be putting it in low C. Karambit was one of the more cooler melee weapons at the time during its launch, and I think it had a better swipe speed than the gutter knife, and I think they kind of felt the same in general for its damage range, like when it comes to like where it would connect or lunge or anything like that. So it was pretty solid, but for the looks of it, I'm actually gonna give it like a mid B tier. Slow Render. This is our first weapon that had a heavy attack. So if you left clicked with it, or if you right trigger, you would be able to do a heavy attack and chop off the head of your enemy foes in like 2 fellow swoops. There were some variants of it that had different animations, so that was nice to see as well. But if you right clicked, it'd be just one quick slash and you just keep moving, or left trigger for those on console. And overall, this one had a really good lunge range and probably one of the better melee weapons at the time. Soft A tier. Gladiator. This one had a ridiculous lunge. This is a really good one, like a really good punch knife. It also had a glove variant if you spent $80 on the like King Kong event. So really solid, and I definitely loved the aspect of the glove as well, being able to launch your enemies to a completely new dimension. It was awesome to have. Lots of fun with this melee weapon. A really solid melee weapon. Mid A tier, like right above the Renetti. Sledgehammer. This was another one of those weapons that had... Oh, I forgot to mention. Gladiator did have a heavy attack as well, but you were better off with the light attack at all times. Sledgehammer. Okay. Yeah, the Sledgehammer, that one also had a heavy attack as well, which was actually kind of fun too, and it had insane lunge range. But you can send your foes flying as well with this, which was really cool to see, especially in zombies. Lots of fun to use, and it was really good. One of the better melee weapons, but it had a slow swipe speed, so it's better than the Soul Render in my opinion. So I'm gonna put it mid A tier, like below mid A tier. And then you got the Spear, which is one of the first throwable melee weapons that you can actually melee with and throw. Really interesting to see. I mean, of course, it's kind of like a ballistic knife in the back in the day, but in a sense, really awesome. Extremely good at range. It's stupid. Like you could poke your foes like not even like 6 feet away. It's stupid. S tier. This is amazing. An amazing melee weapon in the game. So goofy, and it's so cool to throw them too. And that's the Modern Warfare 3 tier list so far. And now we're going to get into the next one, which I got to get a drink real quick because I'm getting thirsty. Throw that into the bin. Okay. Now we're going into the Modern Warfare 2 weapons. The M4 is an all-arounder, really solid. Still good in Modern Warfare 3. A tier. Put it right there. TAC 56, this is another meta weapon at the time. Really solid. Really good AR as well. High damage. Decent fire rate. In all honesty, I actually kind of liked it. Right next to the M4. I'm just going to put it right there. A tier. Kastov 762 also had an aftermarket part in Modern Warfare 3 that turned into the AK-12. But I personally didn't really like the Kastov that much because of its recoil. But, I mean, it's one of those high damage weapons. If you can control the recoil, then you're fine. In all honesty, to me, it is a B tier around here. MWIII 556, a very underrated gun in my opinion. Very solid, fast firing kind of feel. Control is really good. Iron sights are clean. It's a really solid weapon and slept on by a lot of people. Top A tier. STB 556, another bullpup. Kind of fun to use. Kind of classic in a sense. Lots of fun. Lots of recoil control attachments in a sense. Pretty good overall. I mean, it's not too bad. Solid iron sights. Solid gun. A tier. M16, it was alright as a 3-round burst, but with the aftermarket part turning it into full auto, it made the gun pretty dang good. Right about the M4. A tier. Kastov 74U, I did not like it that much because of its recoil pattern. I think this is also another meta gun at one point. I'm not sure if that's true or not. Maybe during its earlier life cycle in Modern Warfare 2, but I'm not sure. But now that it has a really weird recoil cycle and just overall not as great as it used to be, C tier, high C tier. Casto 545 with the aftermarket part made it so much better and made it really feel like an AK-12, like it felt like an AK-12 in Modern Warfare 2, and now it truly becomes the AK-12 in Modern Warfare 3. To me, I absolutely loved it, and it's still a lot of fun to use, very low recoil, and lots of fun. S tier. M13B. Not too bad. Recoil's a bit wonky. Quite a bit of options on there for attachments as well. Still an interesting gun overall. Still fun to use. I don't think it's half as bad. B tier. High B tier. Chimera. I do not like its recoil. It is a nice nod to the Honey Badger, which I'm actually, fun fact, I don't have the camera right now, but I have a Honey Badger shirt on right now from the Call of Duty store because I bought that $100 camouflage, and that was one of the shirts I got, so I'm wearing the Honey Badger shirt. So the Chimera. Recoil control is really weird with it. Integrated suppressor, you can either have it on or off depending on the barrel. Depending on the barrel, of course, and it was just kind of a mixed results. I didn't really like it too much. C tier, but it's definitely better than the Castov 74U. ISO Hemlock, that one had some interesting options. It could also come with blackout rounds if you wanted as well. Very interesting weapon overall. Lots of options. Heavy hitting. Solid weapon. A tier. Like a high A tier. Tempest Razorback, that one had a lot of recoil weirdness and movement. Some interesting options on there, but it really hindered your mobility if you added recoil control attachments. Overall, not the best weapon. That's a C tier at low. FR Advancer had a lot of fire rate, a lot of firepower. Lots of options on here, magazines, whatever. Very fun to use, but it kicks like a mule sometimes, but it was still good. High B tier. M13C had a lot of weird recoil patterns as well. Felt kind of weirder than the M13B. I believe this one had blackout rounds, if I'm not mistaken. But it was still quite an interesting submachine gun kind of feel to an AR. C tier as well, but actually way better. Yeah, C tier, like right there. TR-76 Geist, another bullpup. This came out in Season 6. Solid recoil, solid damage. Actually sounded really cool to shoot with, and I loved it. Pretty dang solid. That is a high B tier for me. Lockman 7.62. This is a battle rifle category. This can be semi-automatic or full auto. Semi-auto, I believe, did like 60, 75 headshot damage. I don't remember. Still solid, like even with full or not, but it was still a lot of recoil and very loud when you're using it. It's a wild weapon. Low A tier. SO14 kind of felt like the Lockman 7.62, but a little bit worse. Recoil control was quite all over the place. It had a better magazine, I think. Options were quite weird with the stock, so you had to pick wisely. It overall was not that great of a weapon for headshots. D tier. TAC V. This is a full auto. This is not half as bad. It felt like a little bit better of a version than the TAC 56. Overall, pretty solid. Lots of options on there. This one, I'm going to be honest, is an A tier. A little bit higher than everything else. Like right there. FTAC Recon. Due to its magazine limitations of 5, 10, or 15, it was very hit or miss. Headshots were a one-shot headshot in Modern Warfare 2, but in Modern Warfare 3, they're a two-shot headshot. Not that great in Modern Warfare 3. You have to either put it in full auto and spray and pray or something else. Recoil was quite off as well with it. It was not that great for Modern Warfare 3. D tier. Cronin Squall. Lots of magazine attachments, but it hinders your ADS speeds. You feel like a slug when you're using the Cronin Squall with the right attachments for recoil. D tier. Vel 46. So the MP7. This is a really fun nostalgic weapon to use because I love the MP11, MP7, and all sorts of games and stuff like that. A very fun, fast, solid, and meta weapon from the past. S tier. MX9, or the AUG for the submachine gun category. Not bad. The magazines kind of were mixed. Like either you had a 25 or a 32 round. It wasn't that great. Attachments were mid as well. But the reload speeds of the 32 was what really sold me away from it, and I didn't really like it that much. C tier. Lockman Sub. Made you feel like you were part of the task force 1 for 1. Really solid, really classic SMG. Who couldn't love this weapon? Lots of fun, really solid, high A tier. Vaznev 9K was one of those weapons that everyone used in Modern Warfare 2, another meta submachine gun. It was alright, but I don't like the S pattern again. It's another one of those skill weapons that, like, S pattern, fun, not really. Not really for me, I didn't like it. C tier. Like, above all that, C tier. FSS Hurricane. This was essentially the static HV for Modern Warfare 2. Very solid. Ammo types were limited down to like 4 different ammo types, which was very frustrating. So you couldn't have like low pressure or anything like that. Recoil control options were kind of limited as well. But it was, once again, it felt like an M4, but with like the PDSW magazine. Really interesting. But overall, pretty solid still with the right attachments. A tier. Minibach had its limitations mainly because of its magazine. The magazine was what really hindered its underbarrel capabilities, and recoil control on this was quite off. Like, you couldn't really get it down perfectly with attachments without sacrificing ADS and movement speeds. Overall, big mag, slow fire rate, decent power, C tier. PDSW 528, this was my go-to submachine gun for headshots in Modern Warfare 2. Lots of fun to use, lots of options, very interesting, but if you put the wrong attachments, it really hinders your ADS speed, so you gotta be really careful of what you pick on there. And I love the iron sights. S tier for me. Fennec 45, extremely fast fire rate. Reloads are a little bit slow, especially with the 45 round mag. You also had the 12 round mag option, which was interesting, but it didn't really help too much with Modern Warfare 3. But it did help a lot more in Modern Warfare 2 with the 100 HP system compared to the 150 HP system we got in Modern Warfare 3. Overall, it's alright. It's still iconic and kind of fun. Low A tier. Bass P, it's not half as bad, but it's not half as great either. It's kind of like an all-arounder, but not really. Like an all-arounder that it wants to be, but it can't really be. C tier. ISO 45 kind of feels like the striker for Modern Warfare 3, or from Modern Warfare 3 into Modern Warfare 2. Very solid, low recoil, lots of fun to use, and hard hitting. I liked it. A tier. Lockman Shroud is, well, in Modern Warfare 3 it was a 3-round burst, subsonic, suppressed submachine gun that actually felt kind of fun to use, and it's integrated and stuff, which is really nice. Lots of fun to use in Modern Warfare 2, but it got even better with Modern Warfare 3's aftermarket part that made it full auto, making it one of the better submachine guns in the game. S tier. Alright, give me 1 second. And also, before we continue, I'm going to move that up higher. Like right there. Nope, right here. No, here. There we go. Right there. Alright. ISO 9mm. This one had a lot of recoil. Very odd. It felt like a pocket pistol again that's full auto. I wasn't too much of a huge fan of this. It's still decently good. I still see people using it in shipment here and there. It's not too bad. B tier. Like right there. Right next to the Ram 9. It felt like the Ram 9 of that game. Okay, we're going to go to shotguns because for some reason they organized light machine guns first. Interesting. Lockwood 300, they completely killed it in Modern Warfare 3. The damage range for it is awful, especially with slugs. It's just completely ruined, sadly. It is one of my favorite shotgun designs ever. Like, when it comes to a shotgun in general being an over-under shotgun, I loved the 725. But the Lockwood 300 in this game absolutely was abysmal. F tier. Expedite 12. Not too bad. Semi-automatic, can be a big tube. Not too bad either. It's enjoyable to a certain extent, especially with slugs, but overall it's an shotgun. Low C tier. Actually, yeah, low C tier. Bryson 800, just another pump action. Classic, you know, not too bad. Powerful. Slugs work very well on it for headshots. Overall, really solid shotgun. Low A tier. Bryson 890 is literally a carbon copy of the Bryson 800 with some other attachments like a magazine. It's better than the Bryson 800 in my opinion because of that. A tier. KV Broadside had two options. It can either be a full auto shotgun, or sorry, semi-automatic shotgun, or it can be a full auto battle rifle. Very awesome to see that you can turn it into a battle rifle. Really interesting too. Some people may get confused on it. Some people may realize. Some people may not know better. But it is still a solid shotgun. Lots of fun to use overall, and can ruin people's day. A tier. MX Guardian, for those who probably know, there's a new stupid glitch going on right now that's really annoying with this. And it's not a glitch, I don't think. I think you have to actually buy your thing to be modded. It's so cringe. It's the lowest of the lowest that people have to stoop down to. There's sadly a new glitch with the MX Guardian aftermarket part that once was a 3-round, like it only had 3 rounds in the chamber or in the magazine, and it hit like a slug. Like it was like a one shot anywhere, but you had to charge your shot. Sadly, people have found a way to mod their files on this game to have a 15-round mag and full auto with that ammo type. Extremely sad and depressing. Those people have a special place in hell. But besides that, the MX Guardian with slugs or whatever, anything you want to slap onto this is solid at. Full auto, semi-auto, 2-round burst. Really, really unique shotgun. It's a shame that people are fucking ruining it. A tier. LMGs. Seikon MG38, just your average everyday LMG. Not too bad, not too great. Low B tier. HCR56, another version of the AUG. Big mag. Recoil control was okay. ADS speeds were pretty abysmal, but you had to adjust for it, so it's not too bad. Low B tier. 556 Icarus was pretty bad. The damage is like 4 to 5 shot. Very mid fire rate. It is very bad in Modern Warfare 3. Low D tier. RAL MG hits hard and it also has a conversion kit that can turn it into like a semi-automatic or full auto, depending on what you want to pick. Either a full auto gun or like when you put in semi-automatic, it becomes high power. A very, very interesting type for the RAL MG, but the only problem is the ADS speed, mobility is very rough. So besides that, it is very hard hitting and really good. A tier. RPK, it also has an aftermarket part that turns into a 50 BMG sniper rifle, which is insane and was nerfed a lot, but it's still fun to use. I mean, even with the base RPK, it's still alright, but the aftermarket part really was interesting. High A tier because of the aftermarket part. Rap H, fast fire rate. I feel like this light machine gun has been slept on. Really solid submachine. Oh my god, really solid light machine gun that I think people should be using more. High A tier. EBR 14 was once really good in Modern Warfare 2 with the one-shot headshot capability, but now it does not. It's not bad, but it's not great either. C tier. SPR 208, it's alright. It has some issues with like ADS, movement speed, whatever, with the wrong attachments. Not really great for ADS attachments at all. Low B tier. Lockwood Mark II, a lot of fun to use. They also had an aftermarket part where you can put them akimbo, model 1887s. Lots of nostalgia and PTSD from that era. Lots of fun, especially with slugs and minimal hipfire spread. It became a lot of fun to one-shot headshot with. S tier. Like right above there, right there, S tier. Actually, no, I'll rate that even higher than that, right there. S tier. For both. Like with or without the aftermarket part, it's just amazing. LMS, once again, it felt like the EBR-14 in Modern Warfare 2, where a one-shot headshot, but now it can't. I love the design, and I love how lightweight this weapon was until, 150 HP system. B tier. Sorry, C tier. My bad. SAB 50, a lot more versatile options. A lot more ADS speed benefits. Pretty solid overall. A tier. TAC M. This was my go-to headshot weapon for Modern Warfare 2. It still is a one-shot headshot in multiplayer in Modern Warfare 3. And I overall enjoyed this weapon. Lots of options, lots of versatility. S tier. Soft S tier, like right there. Crossbow. Okay. There are some decent options on there, but you want to maximize your bolt velocity more than bolt accuracy. But with the crossbow, it was kind of hit or miss. And if you missed, it was a devastating day. Because it takes like a whole second to reload. It is very poor. I wish I had a magazine or an aftermarket part, but it sadly does not. D tier. Tempest Turret. It's not good. It's not great. It's not good. I don't like it. I cannot use this. I don't know why. I struggle with this weapon. Two-shot headshot weapons have just never been my cup of tea. I never really enjoy these. I'm sure some people can do it. I can't. C tier. MCPR 300. Nice to have iron sights on there. Solid marksman. Oh my god. Solid sniper rifle overall. Pretty fast. And it also had like a 5-round mag that you can put on it to make it even faster. Very solid sniper. A tier. Like, right there. Signal 50. I wish it shot faster. I wish it had a bigger mag, like an 8-round mag or something. And I wish it was lighter. Too bad it didn't have an aftermarket part that brought it back to the original links back in the day. But, I mean, it is what it is. High C tier. Excuse me. The LAB 330. It had some issues, especially with aim walking movement speed and aiming down sight speeds. Very slow and very unforgiving in the ADS department in Modern Warfare 3. I don't know why it's this slow, but it is so bad. It is so slow, but it still hits like a truck. It's still good. It's just the ADS speed is so bad. Low C tier. SPX 80, a lot more versatile than the Lab. And a lot more better ADS options available for the SPX. Much more faster than the LAB. High C tier. Victus XMR. A lot of people use macros on that, and I find them really sad. Very, very sad to cheat in a video game. Victus XMR had a very slow fire rate, especially when you first shoot and it doesn't rechamber for like almost half a second. Well, more like a quarter, but still, it was very slow on that department. It hit heavily. Very good. Not so great ADS. Overall, not too bad. Low A tier. FGX Imperium is exactly what we asked for. Is exactly what we asked for a good sniper in Modern Warfare 2. And it still is solid in Modern Warfare 3. And Rage, if you're hearing this, the FGX Imperium does not need a buff. It is good enough on its own. You need to aim higher. I love this weapon, especially with the back in action aftermarket part. It sounds so good. ADS speeds are solid enough. Hipfire is great. It is so good overall. S tier. Carrick 300. I wish I had better ADS options, and I wish I had iron sights or something. Very solid for the one-shot headshot. It's just so slow. I don't know why it's so heavy. Like, dude, it's made of wood. Why is wood heavier than steel? Makes sense to me. C tier. Riot Shield. This is probably one of the better weapons when it comes to Riot Shield, like action, or melees, I'm sorry. When it comes to meleeing melee weapons, it's the noob's best friend. And everyone runs it on their back. They're so trash for using that on their back. And also, I don't understand why they want to run it on their back. Because when you get shot in the back, your screen shakes. Who likes that? Not me. That's just stupid. But for the Riot Shield that it is, low B tier. P890. Ugh. It's good on headshots, but it's just 12 rounds is not enough. It just feels off. I don't know how to explain it. P890 is hit or miss. It's not too bad. not too great either. High D tier. 50 GS, amazing one-shot headshot potential, and it can also one-shot body, which I think is stupid. It should only be a one-shot headshot. But I mean, it's whatever. It's a very solid pistol. Nice little pocket pistol sniper. I love it. And it's a very solid weapon overall. S tier. X12. I think this is a two-shot headshot at 75 damage. But I can never hit the two shots I need to hit. It's weird. It's interesting. It's nice to have a Glock in the game. Kind of fun to use. Don't use them akimbo because it's just weaker that way. X12 overall is not too bad. Kind of wish they were better akimbo, but it's whatever. C tier. Basilisk. Another revolver. A classic. I just wish I had 6 rounds instead of 5. Is what it is. You can run snake shot on it or whatever. Very solid one-shot headshot pistol. Lots of fun to use. And it also has that nice little like trigger delay, which I actually like, and it kind of helps a little bit for headshots. S tier. Oh, and also I forgot to mention the Basilisk also has an aftermarket part that turns into like an 8-round 2-shot headshot kind of thing, but I don't really like that. I like the regular. X13 auto was very weak, very underwhelming, a lot of recoil, a lot of versatility attachments, yes, but it just didn't hit as hard as the, oh, what are those called? I don't remember the original name of these Rafficas. I think. Oh, I probably just said the wrong one. Anyways, not as solid, especially akimbo. It's even worse than akimbo. Very underwhelming. D tier. GS Magna is a very interesting deagle. Does not one-shot headshot, but it is full auto. Very interesting. Nice to see they have underbarrels for it, which is odd. But I guess it just helps to control the mule that you're using. So, overall, soft A. F-Tac Siege, extremely fast fire rate, big magazine. You can put stock and a foregrip on it. It turns into a submachine gun secondary. Pretty fun to use, and people get mad when you use it. A tier. 9mm Damon. I'm going to be real honest, it's been slept on, especially as akimbo, because akimbo is really where it shines. Its damage is really good in akimbo, and I recommend it 100%. The 9mm Damon slaps in shipment. It is so good. High A tier. And then we got the launchers. The Pila is a pile of shit. Haha. But it's only good for taking out streaks. But for trying to get the fucking 400 kills, F. Sucked. It sucked. Same thing with the Strela. The damage was awful, but it's better. Like, it's better than the Pila by a mile, but it is still awful. And I'm going to be honest again with the Pila. It takes a whole second to aim down sight and shoot with the damn thing, when you're better off just meleeing with it. It's so bad. I had to go through 1,000 kills with this piece of shit. It sucks. It absolutely sucked. I had to run 2 launchers as a backup plan, like the Pila and the Strela. Either that or the Pila and the RPG. It was dog shit. Same thing with the Strela. The Strela had a better aim down sight speed and shooting time, like more like half a second, but you could not lock on to launchers. Or that too. You couldn't lock on with that launcher. So it was a free firing thing, so trying to get streaks was annoying, but trying to get kills was just as annoying as the Pila. Very weak. F tier. RPG has a lot more damage, but before we go to that, the Joker, do you think it would suck? It's actually not bad. It's actually not bad at getting kills in shipment. It's doable. Hang on one second. The Joker, it's really solid in shipment. Trying to get kills with it is really good. Like, its blast radius is insanely good. It's a nice lock-on launcher, and if people use smokes, you can turn on night flare, so you can see in the night of the... Oh, not the night. You can see in the smoke for the enemy player outlines, which is really awesome. Really futuristic, and I love this one. Low B tier. RPG is a lot better than any of the other launchers when it comes to versatility, reload speeds, and just being able to shoot and get it over with. Really good, not bad for getting kills. B tier. Melee weapons. Combat knife was quite slow. Another one of your classic melee weapons. I mean, it looks great and everything, it's just not as good. It's worse than the gutter knife, C tier. Dual Kodashis were slower. Like, he moved a lot slower, had less range, had an annoying streak kind of visual. I overall didn't like it. D tier. Tonfa was one of the way better melee weapons in that game. It's a 2-hit kill, but it has an insane lock-on range, and it is just fast. It's fast, it got the job done. People got pissed when you got killed by this thing. A tier. Pickaxe. Very slow, kind of like the sledgehammer, but it's a 1-hit kill. It's not too bad, but I don't like it. D tier. Dual Kamas. Not too bad, not too great either. I never really liked the Kimbo weapons either. Like, especially melee weapons, it's kind of pointless in a sense. It's not as bad, but it still gets the job done. Better than the Dual Kodashis. High D tier. And that's it. That is our tier list. I'll let you guys look at this now, and I'll just give you guys a few moments. You guys can pause or whatever if you're watching this after the video, and just be able to review everything. So yes, I know my opinions are way different than yours. I get it. I completely understand. But this is coming from someone that has experience with all of these weapons for over 1,000 kills with each to get the Grand Mastery shit done with every single weapon. So that's just personal experience with Modern Warfare 3. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We're going to be doing another stream probably either later tonight or tomorrow of the third part of this. So we're going to be getting the third part of this done, which is for zombies, and that'll be the final segment. So thank you guys so much for watching before, during, or after the stream. Follow if you haven't yet already on Twitch. Subscribe if you haven't yet already on YouTube. Leave a like, show this to your friends, and have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!